Hi Nikhil. Hello everyone who has
Hi,
joined
Nick.
the event today. It's great to have you all here. So hi Nikhil, it's great to have you with us here today as well. So just a brief introduction about Nikhil. He is currently the founder of VIBRANCYY, a startup which he has founded right after he's graduating from college right now. He is also the BOD member of Rotaract Club and he is one of the key members of Entrepreneurship Cell of PICT Pune. He is the person who has actually helped in the complete growth of eCell right from the beginning. So Nikhil, thank you once again for being with us here today. So I'll just start off with the basics and tell us a bit more about Vibrancy and how it all started. Like what was the origin of it and what is the main idea behind Vibrancy?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you, Sagnik. Thank you, WorqHat, for calling me over here. And as you said, you have joined me. I have joined as a mentor also. If students have any
Right.
doubts, they can ask me questions. So I'm really glad that is happening right now because in our case, in our times, we used to not get these opportunities, but we are getting the other students will be getting this opportunities. Other colleagues will get this opportunity. That is very great for them. And so, thanks for calling me again. So, coming back to vibrancy. So, vibrancy is one of my dream projects. So, to exactly explain what is vibrancy, uh, in one sentence, what I can tell you is it is a one halt destination for all passioneers. Let's say if you have any interest, if you have any passion, let's say stock market and finance, singing, dancing, or let's say startup, for that particular thing, whatever things you require from content, from people, from offers and services, from deals, from listings, from proper connects, from hyper localization to global everything on a single platform at the ease of your hand. So there's a thing, there's a sentence we say that you can explore your hidden interest, you can instigate your passion over here, and even you can scale it to next level. So that's what vibrance is about. And how did it started? So vibrancy, like this all started through the pain which I have gone through and which you maybe also have gone through. The pain which we have gone through, because see, whatever things we want to explore, let it be for startup, let it be for any other interest which you want to, let's say stock market, or let's say for some creativity thing, because there is no what's a correct track, or let's say a correct some prototype or some state, some way to reach there. So we have gone through a lot of pains. We have to connect a lot of people, we have to understand a lot of things. So there are a lot of pain points around this, along this communities and interests. So in this journey, I understood that if I can build something for other people, which can simplify their process of learning, which can simplify their process of going to next level, that will be very great. So that's how vibrancy started.
It sounds pretty interesting and I wish you all the very best for the entire journey.
Thank you.
And I wish and I hope to see you grow and maybe we can grow together. And as Nikhil
Yeah, yeah,
mentioned,
sure.
he has also joined WorqHat as one of his mentors. So if your students have any doubts about how you can go ahead with the concept of entrepreneurship, how to build your own startup while you're still in while you're still in college, or you have some idea and you want some guidance on how you can build that idea into a MVP or a prototype, you are always free to drop him a message on our platform. I will share the link of his profile very shortly after this webinar ends. And Nikhil, thank you once again for joining us here. So as
Yeah.
Nikhil is one of the student founders that I came across and he's a very good friend of mine, we decided to come
Sure.
up
That's
on a
a very good
topic
thing.
we decided to come up on a topic that revolves around what difficulties or what myths that are going around when a student from college decides to start up his own organization. And when you think of it, there are many things that revolve around in circles when we talk about a startup. And it's mostly the challenges, notions, and facts behind running or setting up a startup. And the main problem that students face while building a startup is building a prototype. Am I right, Nikhil?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Like if not the only prototype, the starting stage to ending stage, everywhere there's an hurdle, there's everywhere there's a problem, and we have to find an innovative solution over that.
Yeah. So what I did was, in order to get some questions for you, I just ran a simple Q&A session on my private Instagram account, and we came
Oh
across
wow.
around 20-25 questions. I decided to shortlist 8 questions from there, and maybe if you could answer those questions, it will be a great help for all the students who are watching this live today. So, are you up for it right now?
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
ready. Totally excited.
So,
Let's start.
all those young entrepreneurs who are here, I know you all have your concerns about the different myths or the different roadblocks to success that can come. but I can assure you that they are not true, but you think that they are true. So here is Nikhil to solve all those doubts that you have. So the first question that I liked the most was, do you feel that the founder's age is important to the success of a startup? That is, you can't build a startup when you're a student, and you need to be someone who has worked in the industry for several years. So what is your take on it?
So this is a very tricky question, like founder's age is not important, but the experience age is important. But
Right.
it is not necessary that, like, if you have seen recently news, like a 12-year-old kid was selling NFT worth crores. So
Hmm.
right now, many 21-year, 25-year-old people would be not knowing what is NFT, non-fungible tokens. But a
Right.
12-year kid is selling that. So it's not upon the age, it's upon the experience age. What experience do you hold? So in my
Right.
personal opinion, I feel there is two kind of experience, which any person can have. First is technical experience. That doesn't mean coding. It means
Hmm.
a experience in your domain, in deep dive in your domain. So whatever domain you may be in, let's say food tech or coding, food industry or anything, right? So
Right.
in that manner, so technical experience first, and second is market experience. So because if you see, a lot of people don't know how to sell, a lot of people don't know how to negotiate, a lot of people don't know how to communicate, how to network. But these are the main skills. Without this, anyone can you make you fool in the market, you know so
Right.
sometimes you would have seen like the person who is not having any technical experience, but they have this market experience and they have network, and through that way just scale up and become successful. So in my
Right.
opinion, there are just two kind of experience: market experience, which is around all the soft skills, and second is technical experience around domain. So
Right.
in if you have both, it's a totally win-win situation. If you but at least you should have one in a matter of, let's say, in a good experience, and then you can
Hmm.
start off. Otherwise, it's hard.
Okay. So, like, as do you want to say that your age is does not necessarily connected to your immaturity or inexperience? It's all about the experience that you have, if I'm not wrong, right?
Exactly. It's all about experience. So that 12-year-old can have experience of 25-year-old person also. Even 20-year-old
Right.
person can have experience of 60-year-old person also. So it all depends on experience. वो एक हिंदी में there's a saying कि छोटा पैकेट बड़ा धमाका. Doesn't matter यार कि आप
Yeah.
क्या एज है, आपने क्या काम किया, how much experience do you hold, that matters.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So, and also, I'll just give you a bit of a heads up. Some of these questions asked over here, there are two questions, have been asked by a 10th standard student, and one of them has been asked by a 9th standard student. So, we will come to that later on. All right. So, we can
yeah,
actually
sure.
see that the age bar is going down day by day, and more younger students are being more interested in building their own startups these days. So it's like being a student ourselves. It's good to see that people younger than us are also starting up now.
Exactly.
So I'll
And
just move on
that's
to it.
gonna happen. That's gonna
Yeah.
happen right now. If you see, the kids are more smarter. The kids are smarter than us also. But so
Right.
in future that's gonna happen, that there'll be a lot of young founders.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll just move on to the next question quickly. So the next question was, you need to be a business guru in order to be a successful startup yourself. Or in layman's term, you won't be successful in a startup because you don't know enough about business. So do you feel that you need to be very good and you need to know all about running a business in order to build a successful startup? Or what is your take on this? Do you need to be a business
Uh,
guru to build?
no, like if you see in the market, there are a lot of business guru, there are a lot of business coach, but they don't have their startup. In fact, they
Right,
teach to other startups that how to excel. But the startup doesn't needs the business acumen on the first priority. The startup founder needs, first thing on priority is the hunger and the guts, the risk taking capacity. If you
right,
have that first in your hand, then business acumen can be developed, because you have that hunger, you have that potential that you can cover it up. Because if you see, with all due respect, business coaches are important, because those are the mentors which will be giving you a proper pathway for your
right,
startup. because every startup needs mentors, every startup needs, this business coaches. But
Right.
it is not necessary to be a business guru. It's all about, that first priority, as I said, hunger and risk taking capacity. If you can do that, if you can go out of your comfort zone, then this doesn't matter because it will come automatically to your side.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. Like, like personal experience. If you like understand the revenues and the profits and experiences, and you know the basics of how a business is run, it's more like you go ahead with your personal experience rather than depending on someone else's experience. But on the other way
Exactly.
around, you need a mentor. Definitely. Right? Right.
Yeah,
You need a mentor
exactly.
guide because you're not that everything person. You can't be that ever. You need guidance, you need mentorship. And that is where I think a business guru comes in help.
Yeah, that is important. Everyone needs a mentor, everyone needs a business coach. And because sometimes you can say there's a generation gap also. Let's say those
Hmm.
mentors can be having thinking a level something, they will be thinking in a different manner, and you will be thinking in a different manner. So,
Right.
including his experience, the founder can make a better plan and he can execute in all the possibilities, because sometimes we don't see the possibilities which can happen, but they have seen that happening.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
they guide us in that manner.
Right. So moving on to the next question, and this is one of the questions that was asked by a 10th standard student, as I mentioned before, 10th standard. So
Yeah.
question goes like, you need to have a perfect business plan right from the beginning to succeed,
Uh,
or how do you like take an example of vibrancy yourself? Did you actually build a very perfect business plan for the next 3 years while you are building the startup, or do you feel that you want to go with the flow, or what's the entire thing about planning for vibrancy?
okay. So this is a very cool question. First thing, and so coming to this, there is no perfect business plan.
Right.
In life, there is nothing perfect. Every time it would be improvising. Every time, at every step, at every next step you go, you improvise your plan. You improvise those things. So there is no perfect business plan at the start. In the case
Right.
of vibrancy also, I can say, like, I don't have any full perfect plan of 3 years. Kya, exact after 3 months I'll be doing this, after 6 months I'll be doing
Hmm.
this, in this manner I'll be generating revenue. My revenue will be in 10 crores or 20 crores. Nothing can be decided right now. Who
Right.
decided that pandemic will come, and some of the industries will shut down and some of the industries will go up. So you never know. But you have some criteria, you have some KPIs, key performance indicators, so
Right.
where you can judge, yourself, "Okay, is my plan going in the right direction or not?"
Hmm.
So you should have basic projections with you, but that's not the perfect plan. The plan keeps on improvising, but for sure you need some projections when you incorporate your startup, not at the
Hmm.
ideation stage, but when you
Hmm.
started your execution at the biggest, to scale it up, you should have your projections
Hmm.
ready.
Okay. All right. So it's
Yeah,
like you make the plan and you go on pivoting it along the path that you take. You keep changing
exactly.
it, right? So that's it. And and for the students out here, even I have got a bit of advice for you. Don't get caught up in the fallacy of being perfect. See, you need to do what you have got and you need to make sure that that is perfect, because as Nikhil said, and I totally agree with him, there's no such thing as perfect, and perfection is going to be the enemy of being done. You want to develop a perfect product, you will wait around forever and get nothing accomplished. So don't focus on being perfect, right, Nikhil? So I'll move on to the next question. Nikhil, I'm going on with the next question. You okay with it? Nikhil, I think I lost you. Hey, Nikhil.
Yeah, actually, there's a power cut over here in my office, so I guess we
All
have
right.
to go on with this only.
All right. All right. It's perfectly fine.
So,
You're back, right?
am I visible?
Yeah, you're visible. You're perfectly visible. You're perfectly visible. All good. All good. All good. No
Okay, fine,
worries.
fine. Perfect.
So I'll just move on with the next question.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
sure.
think being a university student yourself, having a past internship experience is very important for building a startup. Like, what is your take on this?
Yeah, like it does. Like internship experience, as I said first, only experience matters, and internship gives you that experience. But
Hmm.
I would like to correct this term. In our
Okay.
university or in any college, everyone is like internship karte, and बस नाम के लिए they do it. They
Hmm.
do it for just for the namesake and for just
Hmm.
for 2 3 months, and they don't gain any credible experience. If
All
you're
right.
doing an internship, make sure it is a credible internship. It
Okay.
is not something any normal internship which you're doing it for this namesake, because that won't add any value to your profile. It should be a
Okay.
credible internship. So, like,
Okay.
I credible in the sense, in my case, let's say in my first year, I joined one company. So, I had done sales of 6 lakh rupees in just 6 months at the age of 17 in my
Okay.
first year. So this
Okay.
experience helped me a lot. Whenever I used to say this, it was in my resume. All those interns people, like all those people, like those who were talking with me, or those who were taking my HR interview, they used to be like,
Hmm.
"Wow, that's so fascinating." So
Hmm.
any internship you do, it should be very credible. The other internship which I did in my third year with a Mumbai-based company, even
Hmm.
I did something which was very fabulous. So if you're doing some internship, you're getting an
Hmm.
experience, don't just take it for namesake. Do something which you can be proud of. Do something which fascinates you. Do something which is credible enough to make your value worth in public.
Right.
So
But
that's what credible internship is.
I had this one doubt, like, see, doing an internship takes a time of its own, and building a startup is a time taking job in itself, right? So
Yeah.
how do we, like, as a student, how is a person supposed to handle both an internship and building a startup if he or she is doing it together? That both of them are time taking, and college college studies are also present, so all three together, and you have got only 24 hours in a day. So how is a person supposed to manage all these three? If you have any, like, advices or any key points that someone can take away from this.
Sure. Like, first of all, as you said about management of time,
Hmm.
I believe it's not about time management. It's always about focus management. How much you can focus on that particular thing, how much you prioritize those things. Because even I know, and all the students who are watching this, they know they
Right.
have a lot of time in their 24-hour schedule.
Right.
We waste a lot of time using watching some series, watching some movies, or going outside, doing a lot of stuff. So we have time, but we don't keep a focus on track. We don't prioritize
Absolutely.
those things, right? First thing. Second, if you see, like, there's a time where you have to
Hmm.
decide that this startup is a full-time startup or part-time startup.
Hmm.
Because when you start, that the startup is not a full-time thing for you, because
Right.
you won't be giving 18 hours per day for that startup. Right now, let's say me and Saknik are giving 18 hours per day to the startup, or let's say 16 hours per day for a startup. But at initial stages, we were not giving 16 hours per startup. We were just validating the ideas. We were running through the model. We were talking to people, getting validating the model. So it doesn't take much time. It's about 3 4 hours per day, and that's, I guess, you have more than time than that. And right now you are at home, so you have you don't have to waste your time in college also. You can do whatever you want.
You save
So
out time on traveling to college and coming back from it. Also,
exactly.
I know there are many professors over here, but sorry to any professor who's listening to this, but there are students who actually work on their own rather while they're attending the lectures as well. So
Yeah, exactly. I've done a lot of times in my lectures also. I used to sit behind and I used to do my work. So thinking process goes on, because if you're an entrepreneur, the
absolutely.
thinking doesn't stop. You, at any point of time, let's say, I'm for a vacation also. If I'm going to,
Right.
let's say, from Purgate Fort or some north side also, if I'm any trip also, at that
Hmm.
time also I would be thinking these things. कि यार ये, if this situation happens, I should involve this. This product should have this part. So we never stop thinking. So that's the process.
It's a never ending cycle of you think something, you validate it, and you again go back to thinking if it doesn't work out.
Exactly.
And there are multiple cycles, and it goes on and on and on for like a lot of time. So right, absolutely.
So to summarize this, first thing is focus management, not time management. If you
Right,
focus it properly, if you have priorities set, then nothing is impossible. You can do it all three together and excel in all three. I'm not just talking for doing sake. I'm telling for the excelling also. You can excel also in all those three parts. Because that will give you a lot of credibility, which will help you in your startup, in your any journey. Right.
right,
Second is you have time, yeah, you have a lot of time, so everything can be managed because at initial days you don't give full 24 hours, 18 hours to the startup, so everything
right,
is manageable.
right. So moving on to the next question, and I find it a bit, controversial. I don't know if controversial is the right word over here, but okay, I'll just go on with the question and let's see what we make of it. Do you need to be the first of a kind to grow? Or I'll put it in a simpler terms, just because an organization exists who's in the similar domain as yours and you are entering that similar domain, is it difficult for you to grow, or how are you going to, like, what is going to be your idea on it? Do you need to be first of a kind to grow, or you need to be new in that domain? What is your idea regarding it?
So actually this question is what say has two sides.
Right.
First, like obviously if you're the first of a kind to grow, it gives you an extra edge. You have more benefits, you have extra edge in everything which you do because you're going to do in totally a new manner, and that's a niche which no one has touched, so you don't have
Hmm.
any competition. First thing.
Right.
Second, it's not necessary that you have to be first to of a kind to grow. It totally depends on execution. Some second person or third person can come in and do a better execution than yours, find more loopholes and fill it, and excel it. So
Right.
it
Right.
doesn't matter. So I have two examples for this. One is very
Okay.
simple example which everyone can understand, and second is for the proper tech industries. First,
Hmm.
let's take dairy industry.
Okay.
We everyone drink milks, Amul, Kataraj. There are lot of brands, Chitle. You know,
Hmm.
so if you see, dairy industry market size is so big, even one dairy or 10 dairies cannot accommodate it. There
Hmm.
are
Hmm.
personal dairies. There are big dairies like this Kataraj, Chitle. Amul. So if you see,
Hmm.
everyone didn't start at the same level, right? Some came
Right.
recently. If you see right now, one startup is going on. If you have seen Country Delight or something which
Really like
provides
absolutely.
milk online, right? With
Right.
milk testing. So already they
But
have so many competitors. Amul,
right.
Chitle with 50 years of legacy.
Hmm.
Then
Hmm.
also they are coming in and they are giving, providing so much thing. Yeah, so providing a quality milk.
Right.
They are giving guarantee for that. They are providing those test tubes also, which you can test it.
Hmm. Test
So
them.
if you see, it totally depends on execution and your vision, how much you believe on it.
Right.
Even take an example, you can take of e-commerce. Amazon was the first
Hmm.
e-commerce, but afterwards in India only, let's leave outside India. Only India also, there are
Hmm.
so many e-commerce startups which have grown successfully.
Absolutely.
Flipkart came in, then there are a lot of e-commerce, Beowulf.com, which is running profitably,
Uh,
Sold
hmm.
Store. Then there are a lot of e-commerce things coming in. So it
Hmm.
totally depends on execution and how much do you believe in your vision.
Right. I can add another example to this, like you brought into my mind about dairy products, and you were talking about e-commerce as well. So everyone is crazy beyond behind Tesla, the Tesla cars. But if
Yeah,
you have observed about it, Tesla's self-driving cars aren't all about self-driving cars. It's about the hype around it. There are many organizations
exactly.
producing self-driving cars, but for Tesla, it's more all about being affordable and accessible for those who are living in the country where Tesla is manufactured, and as well as the sleek and well-marketed design of Tesla. So yeah, it's totally agreed that first of a kind is not necessary to grow. And also, if you think of it in another way, it's a way you can bring the old ideas to life in a new way. That is what Country Delights is doing right now. The
Yeah.
old idea of delivering milk to people in a newer way, in a newer style. Right, absolutely.
Exactly,
So
like as you said, you brought the right sentence up. Execution with an innovation is the key.
right, innovation is everything. You how you build old things into a new way.
Also the execution, sometimes innovation comes in but the execution doesn't comes in, so it stops. So both things are necessary, I feel, because
It goes hand in
some
hand.
people have a lot of products, because if you, there are a lot of smarter people,
Hmm.
smart people than us, but they don't scale their business. They are not successful entrepreneurs over there,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
they are not able to execute it very well. So
Right.
innovation as well as execution, both are necessary.
Right. So I'll just move on with the next question now. So, what is your take on the sentence? If you don't succeed within an year, you never will. Is it necessary that once you build a startup, you need to grow it in 1 year? Or if it takes more than a year, the startup is going to fail? And so, what is your take on it? And this person who has actually asked this question, he is an old friend of mine, and he's building his own startup as well. So he's a
Oh
startup
wow.
founder as well. So I don't know if he's online with us here today, but yeah, if he's there, it will be very helpful for him. If you like, what is your
Yeah,
take
yeah,
on it?
sure.
1 year is necessary, or more than one works as well?
So first of all, which I feel is, a person doesn't fail. Okay, a
Right?
person doesn't fail because a person can get a success at the age of 40 also, at the age of 65 also. We have a lot of example. KYC, I would say, this McDonald's KFC owner, and
Uh,
there are a lot of people getting success at the age of 65, getting breakthrough at the age of 60, 40, 25, 12. A 12-year-old person who was selling NFT worth rupees crores. So first
mm-hmm.
thing is that I don't feel a person is getting, person can get successful at any time, because his definition of success is different.
Hmm.
But catch over here is, startup gets success or failure depending on the timeline. A
All right.
person, success for a person doesn't depend on the timeline. He can get success anytime. But for a startup, definitely there is a timeline, because you need to see how much timeline you can invest in without getting any gains.
Right.
Right, because see, now it's not exactly 1 year which you can decide. Now every niche, every domain, every startup can have different timeline to be
Hmm.
decided. It can be 1 year, it can be 2 year, it can be 3 year, it can be 6 months. But I feel you have to
Hmm.
decide a timeline which is the deadline for you. Because if then it's not
All
happening,
right.
then you have to stop. Because if you get into that loop, then it won't be easy to get out from there. Because
All right.
sometimes the hard truth is, all startups do not succeed.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
somewhere down the line, you have to believe that now I have to stop.
Hmm.
So that doesn't mean that's the end of your success chapter. That's the end of that startup chapter. Your
Right. Right.
success can start after that, because maybe this can happen that during that startup journey, you got another idea which you started and that kicked off.
Hmm. Right.
So
Absolutely.
of course, deadline should be there for a startup, but not for you. And startup deadline can generally it's 1 year, but now it depends on startup to startup. Some keeps 2 years, some keep 3 years, some can that depends on their personal conditions also.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. Like it's you can't take a year as a limit. It's not about what people expect from you, it's about what you expect from yourself. Right.
Exactly.
And
So
there
that
is
now that
always
the
going to be a
person
magic.
decides how much time limit I can give to this.
Right. And there is always going to be a magical story where an entrepreneur came up with an idea and the first year it didn't work out and the second year he's wound up with millions of dollars in his pocket. And that
Yeah,
has happened.
it can also
That
happen.
has
Yeah,
happened.
it does happen.
That has happened. So, last question. If you could invite a famous face for dinner, who would it be?
Okay. Ratan Tata.
All right. And why so?
So, like, I feel because Ratan Tata, sir, like I have a huge respect for that man.
Right.
Ratan Tata, sir, has so beautifully expanded. If you see, he's not just into Tata Steel. He's not just
Hmm.
into Tata Motors. He is
Hmm.
everywhere.
Hmm.
Starbucks chain is owned by Tata.
Right.
Tata Salt is by Tata. He's into every sector. Now he is entering into e-commerce also, Tata Click. So
Hmm.
he has
Hmm.
expanded into a very beautiful manner, such that with the respect also, such that if there will be critics for everything, for Amazon
Absolutely.
also, for Reliance also, कि भाई मोटा पैसा है ये है Amazon ऐसा. But if you see Tata, there's a respect comes in. because he has expanded so beautifully with the startup with a proper business and no personal agenda.
Right.
So, he has kept his personal life and professional life so different,
Hmm.
that makes me a huge respect for him, for that.
Mr. Ratan Tata is a role model for a lot of entrepreneurs in India. I'll tell you honestly. I have seen a lot of
Yeah,
students looking up to him, you know, as a role model and as someone whose path they want to follow. A path where they work for the people rather than for themselves. So,
for sure. And
do
adding
you?
to this, I had written something like, I hope, yeah, this power cut happened at the last moment, so the lights are not there.
Yeah,
So
it's okay.
I hope I'm visible.
Yeah, you're visible. No
Yeah.
problems with that.
So I just, gone through this famous personalities on the entrepreneur side, what we
Hmm?
can, what we should learn from them. So I just written in my diary. So first person was Kunal Shah, founder of Cred. So
Right.
the best thing to learn from him was curiosity. Like how curious he
Okay.
is into everything. If you ask him, he has a deep dive knowledge about everything. Matlab, he
Hmm.
can tell you about biology, he can tell you about the spirituality, he can tell you about the technicalities, he can tell you about anything. If you listen to him,
Right.
it's like we are listening to a Baba.
Absolutely.
He's into that frame. Then Steve Jobs innovation, like he invested a lot
Hmm.
of money in R&D, but he wanted
Hmm.
everything thing to be nearby perfect.
Right.
So that thing, Elon Musk dedication, man, like the dedication which he has
Oh,
brought in is like, because he is handling six MNCs. That's not a
totally.
joke,
It's not a
and
joke.
which is six MNCs are biggest MNCs of the world. Right.
Right.
So he's handling that. That's not a joke. Ratan Tata sir, humility, respect for him. How he handles, he keeps this personal life and professional life differently. Then
Right.
Mukesh Ambani sir, vision. Matlab, how
Totally.
beautifully he tackled the non-compete with the Anil Ambani, and he came
Right.
with Geo, and he came up with that vision, and it's beautiful. And
Right.
last,
Absolutely.
Anand Mahindra sir, if you see, few months ago, he was very viral on Twitter because some
Huh.
Chinese person tweeted that Indians cannot beat us in something, something like this.
Hmm.
So my Anand Mahindra sir just retweeted challenge accepted.
Right. Right.
So if you see that person's vision, that dedication, that gut power that he
Hmm.
has, कि नहीं यार मैं तो करके दिखाएगा.
Wait.
You know, So that things, if you see, these are the things which I have learned from this big people, and which I try to imbibe in my journey
Right.
personally. So that's how I'm going.
It's all about like people will tell you a lot about like when you're starting a new business, you're going to receive comments, you're going to receive critics as well. Like even you are going to hear about how slim your chances of success are, and your idea is not good, and your idea needs to be amazing to grow. But somewhere down the line, you need to make sure that you don't let that negative feedback slow you down. And as Nikhil said, मैं करके दिखाएगा. That is very important when because you need to focus on what your company is going to be about and what the purpose of your startup is. And that's all about building your own organization, right, Nikhil?
Yep, exactly.
So I think we have covered all the questions that we had that I had sorted out from out of those all questions I had. So do you have any advices for all those students who are looking to enter into the entrepreneurship world and build their own startups? Any piece of advice or your personal experience?
Okay. So just to frame it, like initially, a lot of students would be having this myth that startup can be, it can be started very easily.
Hmm.
It's not that, you have to go through a lot of process, and you need mentor at the stage. It's not like you cannot go alone in this journey. You need a
Hmm.
lot of people with you. First thing. And so I've divided this my college journey or whichever school journey you have into entrepreneurship. Let's say first is, uh, you have to understand this myths के यार ये reality नहीं है. That the
Hmm.
startups needs time, and you have to understand the real facts. You have to believe
Right.
those real facts first. Second, if you have any idea, also validate that. At the same time, gain some credible experience, do some credible internship, as mentioned earlier. Okay,
Hmm.
because that helps you a lot. those internships can give you network, those internships can give you exposure, those internships can add your profile, those internships can give you a value so that other people listens to you, right?
Right.
Because if I wouldn't
Absolutely.
have done so many things, people wouldn't have listened to me, you know
Right.
so first thing is believe that, don't believe on myths, understand the real facts. Second is gain some credible internship experience, gain some credible experience, work with someone. And third is then the ideation stage starts. You have experience, you can validate your idea parallelly with the internship, and then you start your proper Kickstarter journey of your startup.
Right.
Just
Absolutely.
don't enter randomly into it, because if you enter randomly, it would you it's not a bad thing. Obviously you
Hmm?
will gain a lot of experience in this, but
Right.
if you see a proper ideal stage, it will be this three stages can be the ideal stage for it. Like,
Right.
if you have some experience, you have some credibility, then
Hmm.
there are better chances that you will gain success easily, or which is success can come easily to your hand in comparison to that.
Right. Absolutely. And I do agree with you. It's like it's a long journey and it's a tiresome journey. You will feel tired at times, but it's all about not giving up when you're building your own startup. Right. So with this, I
Yeah.
think we come to the end of it. And thank you, Nikhil, for joining us here today and for sharing your insights on how to build a startup when you are in a college. So also, I'll go ahead with this, that Nikhil is joining us as one of the mentors on our platform at WorqHat. So in case your students have any doubts regarding how to start up, on how to build your own MVP, how to build a prototype, or on how to go ahead with the initial marketing pattern of your startup, feel free to drop him a message on our platform. I'll be sharing the link to his profile very soon through a LinkedIn post and through an Instagram post as well. So stay tuned for that. Also, in case you want to join us as one of the students, or if you want to join us as one of the mentors, we have a lot of scope for you students out there. You can build your own projects on our platform. You can work with different industries on the platform. You can even join us as a mentor, or you can look for a mentor to have your doubts solved. So you can just visit our website at https://workat.com to learn more about what we are doing. And in case if you face any errors or if you feel that you want to talk to us, feel free to drop us an email to either talk to us at workhat.com, or you can press the contact button. Our super support team will be there to help you out with it. So, Nikhil, thank you once again for joining us here today, and it was great talking to you. Hope you have
Thank you,
a
Sagnik.
yeah, hope you have
Thank
an
you, Sagnik, for inviting me. And it was a wonderful talk. Thank you.
I wish you all the very best for your journey with vibrancy, and I hope to connect with you again soon on a different path again. All right. Have a
Sure,
great
sure.
day and have a have a nice journey ahead. I wish you
Thank
all the
you.
best. All the best. And so with this we come to the end, and stay tuned for next fireside chat that comes very soon. We will be announcing our next fireside chat soon again. Okay? So Nikhil, thank you for being with us here today. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.